And going into an aerobatic routine while the Oster and Cub fly around at lower level is the de Havilland Canada Chipmunk T10 of the Aircraft Restoration Company. The Oster is another machine from David and Mark Miller's stable, while the Grasshopper, the military variant of the Piper J3 Cub, is owned by the lady who is our flying display director here at Duxford, Jan Fraser.
Both of these aircraft, the Oster and the Cub, look very simple aircraft, which indeed they are, but both of them can deservedly be called warbirds in their own right, because they carried out a very important task for the military as observation aircraft.
The Oster Autocrat here, the particular example we see, was in fact the first civil Oster built. It dates from 1945, because after that wartime service the Oster family became hugely successful on the civil market. In fact, this one was built before World War II had even ended. The Piper L4 there, in the markings of an aircraft flown by the US Army in the Second World War, part of the 82nd Airborne Division. And the deeds of the observation aircraft, the British Osters and the American Grasshoppers, really were heroic, and we'll think much more about that next year when we come to commemorate the 70th anniversary of D-Day. The Chipmunk, of course, a renowned RAF trainer, but also enjoyed some notable success in other roles, photo recognitions over divided Berlin, even as Ford Air controllers Chipmunks were used on occasion.
And I think there are still Chipmunks in service with the RAF. I think the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight do their tail dragger training, and they have two, I think, actually in operation, just to keep currency on tail dragger aircraft. Obviously a Chipmunk is a much less expensive proposition than keeping a Spitfire or a Hurricane in the air for training purposes.
And there was an example of the short field capabilities of the Oster and indeed the Cub, taking advantage of the large grass area to roll across to get as far into wind as possible. Mark Miller with the Autocrat, Dave Fullerton with the Cub, and John Dodd with the Chipmunk. But now an absolute classic of air racing and aerobatics, a little aircraft called the Levere Cosmic Wind, and this one is named Ballerina.
Ballerina dance, and do your pirouette.
Oh, there you go.
Dance, ballerina, dance. You mustn't once forget a dancer has to dance the whirl, ballerina, whirl, and just ignore the chair that's empty in the second row. This is your moment, girl, although he's not out there applauding as you steal the show. Once you said his love must wait its turn, you wanted fame instead. I guess that's your concern. We live and learn, and love is gone, ballerina gone. So on with your career, you can't afford a backward glance. Dance on and on and on.
Final pass then from this aircraft, the only example still flying. Developed for the then new Formula One class of air racing in the immediate post-war years. I said it's the Levere Cosmic Wind. That refers to Tony Levere, a Lockheed test pilot who wanted an aircraft to compete in racing. It dates from 1947, this aircraft. Came to Britain 14 years later and soon became an accomplished participant in not just air racing but also aerobatic contests. Even the World Aerobatic Championships was a contest in which this aircraft took part in the hands of the great Neil Williams, a pilot who flew often at Duxford in the earlier years of the Duxford air shows before he tragically lost his life. There is the Cosmic Wind showing off its